Hello again, Mark Morris with another edition of Along the Rock, our now new podcast. With me is Floyd Dunn, and Floyd, this is I'll say it, we use the word, it's a hell of a mission you've got here.
Yeah. Yep.
Tell us what you do and why you do it.
So I am the president and founder of Valor Support Project. It's a new veteran 501c3 charitable organization. I did 8 years in the Army, and then I got out, and I don't know, it's something about just helping. I mean, I like we were talking earlier, I've had struggles. You know, I'm a recovering alcoholic. It's pretty much my biggest story. I've been sober 6 years, almost 7, and I drank a lot in the Army. But I kind of have a big heart for helping people. I mean, I guess it's just God's way of saying, hey, I put you here to help people. So I try my best to help anybody. I'd give my shirt off my back if I could. But I started this organization just to help the veterans that couldn't get help. A lot of people don't know that if you're in the National Guard or in the reserves and you do time in your service, you don't get a DD-214. So you don't get those benefits unless you go active duty for 90 plus days. So a lot of these soldiers that, you know, did 10, 15 years or whatever, but didn't go active duty, don't get like the VA clinic, they don't get benefits. So no. I mean, they'll get help through, I think they might get help through the commission office downtown, but in Tri-County and stuff like that, all of these organizations have been helping them. But if one's helping one, then the other one can't help them because it would be like kind of double dipping. So they get referred to us. And we try our best to accommodate and help them as much as possible. We've had a couple of veterans already that we've helped financially with even basic hygiene stuff. So,
at one time you were part of a national organization, and I told you, and I won't mention the name, but why did you part from them?
It was kind of I wanted to help more in my community. I wanted to make more of a presence, I guess you could say, in my community. And it wasn't, you know, we parted ways, and it is what it is. To be honest, we've actually done more in these past 2 months than I have within the 2 years that I was helping.
So being local is
absolutely
is a better way to communicate.
Yeah, and
local soldiers.
Well, and it's cool because I have six board members. I created a board. Obviously, to become a 501c3, you have to have your board. 1, 2, 3. 3 of my board members, including myself, our veterans, are still active duty. So we are a veteran organization. Then I also have my wife, who's the CEO, and then her best friend, she's known for 20 years plus, is our secretary. And these members of my board are all from here. So they know everybody in the community. So it's kind of like a family thing. You know what I mean? We are very close to this community, and a lot of people know who we are and what we're trying to do. So we have a lot of support.
Okay. What is your group called?
The Valor Support Project?
Valor Support Project.
Yep.
And I guess the bottom line is you want to prevent as many suicides as possible, which has been a continuing problem, and I'm sure not only here.
It is the mental health aspect, the homelessness, which I honestly didn't know was so bad around here. But there's a lot of homeless veterans, and doing some research. Don't get me wrong, the mental health is a huge thing, but I would rather, a lot of it has to do with the homelessness and not being able to afford your bills. So that's kind of where we're trying to nip it in the ass, per se. We are helping with, let's say Tri-County is helping you and they lower your rent to $50 a month.
That's Tri-County Opportunities Council?
Yes. Or even 2 of our applicants are from the Lee County Housing Authority in Dixon, because we're helping the Tri-County area. So the rent could be $50 a month, but this veteran can't afford it right now because they're unemployed. So we have connections with Goodwill, which it has a veteran help. I mean, they help you find job placement. Yeah. So she's been referring us, but she can't help them unless they have a stable home. So me and my board members have decided that if possible, we try to pay at least 3 months, because $50. So times 3, it's $150, and they're stable for 3 months. They don't have to worry about that problem for 3 months, and they can find a job. So it gives them that sense of hope again, because they don't have to worry about being on the street or where am I going to sleep the next day. So that's kind of where, see, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. But it's just it's just making sure that they are hopeful again, or they have a purpose. And that goes to the suicide aspect. They don't feel like I can't do this anymore. So this is the better answer. It's just stuff like that.
I've heard that so many times before. They come home and well, number one, they don't fit in, they feel. Number two, they can't find the purpose they felt in the armed services. Yep. And number three, they turn to other cures, quote unquote, that don't cure anything.
Correct.
Why do you think that is? Not the whole thing, but just the coming home and not fitting in, that's understandable. The not feeling like you're being useful anymore. Why do you think that happens?
In the service, you get that brothership. You get that connection with all these people that you are literally, that are there to help you. The camaraderie is, you work somewhere for 20 years. That's where you spend most of your life, is at that company for 20 years. You might see home 3 hours a day. Sure. Because you work 8 or 9 hours a day. Same thing in the service. You have all these brothers and sisters that you are with, and then, not to mention, you get deployed. So now your life's on the line, which I was never deployed. I did 99 days over in Fort Knox, Kentucky. I never saw war. I never saw gunshots. And I will never claim that I am a soldier of war times, because I'm not. But at the same time, I have a feeling and a purpose to, I can't, it's hard to explain. The alcohol is pretty much the only thing I could really go to, because a lot of it was stress. And my position in the Army, I was a cook. So our hours were 2 o'clock in the morning, we would wake up. We would go to bed at 2300, and then get up at 2 o'clock again the next day and do it all over again. Wow. So the stress...
7 days a week?
It's the Army. You get a day off? No, but, and as an NCO, because I got out as a sergeant, so I had soldiers underneath me, so I made sure they actually had every other day off. That's how I would help them. I would have a group of 6 or 12 or whatever, and I would split them up. One shift would do a whole 24, and then a day off, because I know the stress. It's hard, but that stress caused me a lot of drinking. A lot. I drank a gallon of vodka at night.
Had you started that before you went into the Army?
No.
No, not until you got there.
Yeah. Yep. And I was 24 when I joined. And then I got out in 2019. So, but the stress is, and then the stress of leaving for a month at a time, because there was missions where the cooks had to go because we were headquarters, so we'd have to go earlier than when the actual brigade would have to go. Mm-hmm. So we would have to go earlier than most of them, and we'd be gone a month. They'd be gone for 2 weeks because of our job. So we'd have to set up and tear down before. So, sure. But yeah, we drank, and it's a stressful environment. I'm not saying that I have any idea what being shot at's like, because I don't know what kind of stress they went through, but I guarantee it was way worse than mine. And look how I was drinking a lot.
And you could tell by talking to them.
Yeah, and so Valor support's just, we're here to, if somebody wants to talk to us about mental health, my wife, like I said before, when I was talking with you, my wife's going to be certified in 2 months with her bachelor's in psychology. And then beyond that, she's going to go for a master's and then that BA or whatever that other license is.
Right.
But I plan on having her help with the mental aspect. The suicide with the organization that I was with, I tried really hard to bring awareness for veteran suicide because it is something dear and really hard to my heart because I lost my drill sergeant back in 2011. He was 24. He was the same age as I was. He did 2 or 3 tours and he took his own life. I also have another female soldier that I knew. Her son took his own life and he was 10. Because it doesn't just affect the soldiers, man, it affects the entire family. If I was to get deployed and I went over, who do you think is going through more stress, me or my family?
Well, I've heard enough that it's the family.
So not a lot of people think about that. They always think this soldier is suffering from PTSD. What about the family? I mean, the family goes through way worse stuff. I mean, you got bills that aren't getting paid. You have children that don't get to see their father or mother for 6 months to a year. I mean, that's hard. So, and my wife made it very clear that she wants to make sure that the spouses are being helped as well in this organization of ours because it is just as hard on them, if not harder. So, Valor Support Project, if there's a spouse of a soldier that is deployed and they need somebody to talk to, we're here. So as far as the application goes, we don't need an application from you. If you're the spouse, just reach out to us and then we'll talk. But every vet that needs assistance, they go to our website, valorsupportproject.com, and then you just click application, you fill it out, and then my wife will receive the application, and then we all go over it as a board. And then we vote on what we're going to do to help.
Get the ball rolling.
Yep.
Okay. Well, you answered part of the next question I had, which was, we know that psychologists can help on the mental aspect, as you say. Psychiatrists are even more educated and perhaps, and also can dispense drugs. But they're so rare. There are very few psychiatrists, and I'm guessing more psychologists, but certainly not enough from what I've heard from a number of people. So your wife will fill in some of that blank. Do you have any cooperation or arrangements with any of the PhDs?
So I know that there are a few. I think Mississippi actually has a veteran psychiatrist over there, which I need to touch base with him. One thing that I don't really like, and I don't think my wife. I mean, don't get me wrong. Prescription drugs are. If you need them, you need them.
Sure. I
would prefer not to go down that rabbit hole, and I think my wife's on the same page. Just because antidepressants, and it sometimes makes the situation way worse. So, kind of getting the camaraderie back. My buddy that I work with, he's actually part of my board. Same last name as mine, Dunn. I don't know, we just clicked, and he's still serving. So, but I'm starting an ambassador program with Valor Support Project. Mm-hmm. So we are taking ambassadors to help us at events because we are so booked and we have so many things going on. With that, I think it kind of plays a part with if there's veterans out there that want to feel that brotherhood or sisterhood again, this is the perfect opportunity for them to get that feeling again. Because the ambassador, I mean, you're hanging out with us. You know, you have a sense of purpose helping other veterans because you know what they're going through because you're going through the same stuff.
And this would be an alternative, just for instance, to going to a bar.
Yep. Exactly.
You know,
and trying to drink your problems away or numb your body by taking prescription drugs. I'm trying to think of any avenue that I could possibly do to keep somebody from doing something to hurt themselves. If I can just save one life, it would mean the world, if that makes sense. And I know it's kind of, well, there's all these other veterans. But if you can save one, that's one less that's on the numbers. I'm hoping. I mean, we've already helped, like I said, 2, and they're older veterans, but they're still veterans, and we have a testimony on our Facebook that says she is hopeful again. I mean, that means the world to me. Somebody is now hopeful again instead of I'm depressed. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Don't see a way out.
No. So giving that light at the end of the tunnel, per se, it means the world to us. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Okay, you've got a website, you said, and you don't yet have a storefront office.
Yep.
And that'll come with more money,
Well,
you hope.
I mean, I'm not gonna, yes, that's kind of the big long-term goal. Right now, our main focus would be helping the veterans first. I do have, we've got a couple things in the works to get more finances, but that money is going to go probably just back into the veterans until we start really getting government grants and stuff like that. Then, yeah, we will probably try to get an office front.
And to that end, you've got a fundraiser coming up.
We have a couple. We have the Darts for Valor, which is being hosted by Renee and Kendra over the cooler. We are doing a 50-50 hat trick raffle. I also have the cooperation of multiple sponsors to donate gift cards and stuff like that, because the buy-in or the tournament, you pay $10 per person. All that money is going to us. And then Renee is actually going to match what the total amount is for prizes for the winners, first, second, third, or however he plans on doing it. It's out of my league, that's why I got a hold of him. But kind of to show my appreciation, I reached out to some sponsors to donate gift cards because it's going to be teams. So I asked them for 2. That way each player gets a gift card plus cash, just to kind of sweeten the pot, and make them show them our appreciation for coming out for one and supporting us, and then just helping us out, because obviously everybody knows that money is just going to go back into us to help them. So.
And the first one is the 7th?
September 7th. And then we'll have our Veterans Day dinner, which is should be a pretty cool event. I have a ton of sponsors donating baskets for a silent auction. I think we're going to have about 150 servings is the cutoff, because I've got Oorah Barbecue over in Prophetstown. He's donating 150 servings of pulled pork. So for the Veteran Day dinner, I decided I wanted to do like a pulled pork sandwich with either potato salad or coleslaw. And then we're trying to get a dessert. That's in the works as well. I'm not going to say what the dessert is, because if it doesn't happen, I don't want to be a disappointment. But
hey, where's the sugar?
Yeah. So, but I mean, regardless, we'll have a dessert. And the plates are $20, but all that money is going to us. It's being donated back at us. Everything is being donated as far as food goes, and then the money for the dinner is going back into our organization to help out. Okay. So,
well, as I said at the beginning, you've got a hell of a mission ahead of you.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I appreciate you coming in and
thank you for having
telling us all about it.
I appreciate it.
That does it for this edition of Along the Rock. I'm your host, Mark Morris, and I hope you can join us next time.